So it's running the same process. This is a disciplinary process that follows these steps in order, A, B, C, and D. And they have to go in that order before an employee is terminated. So you don't terminate an employee without having been suspended. Now, that being said, according to our attorney, we could accelerate that process. And that process could take place in an hour, if need be. If it's serious enough, that process could be accelerated.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, go home, we're gonna decide something, and the next hour, a decision is made, the council is informed, and at the next meeting, it's ratified. That's how fast it can happen, if it is a serious enough infraction. Depends upon what, we don't anticipate, we're not expecting employees to violate these principles. But in the event something happens, we need to be able to move quickly. In the event it's somebody who is nitpicking away and does this and then does this little thing, does that little thing, does this little thing, is causing some discord in the department, then we may have to do something. And we're hoping that we can fix the behavior and keep the employee rather than terminate it.
Okay, so back to part D. Where it says the city. Could we also put the city and council?
The city council is the city. We represent the city. You could suggest it, put that in writing and suggest it so we all see it.
There, you could just,
We're not making a decision on this tonight. We can't even recommend to go forward because we don't have the language.
all we're trying to do is get it right, George.
Oh, I
We're not
believe you.
making a decision.
There's at least three of us sitting in this room right on this side in the council that have doubts about the way this reads. So I can only imagine what that's like if you take it out to the full city. How many people have doubts about what it says? So I'm just trying to make a clarification so that it is fully and easily understood. That's what we're trying to do here. So I'm not trying to change any structural language in any contract. I just want to make a clarification to the document to assist in the understanding.
Okay, words are important.
Words are important. That's
Way
why
they are work,
any,
you know, so they
any
can-
suggested change we do, we'll go to our labor attorney for him to look at.
That's
And
fine.
it process.
That's fine, we don't,
Yeah,
that's not the problem. The problem is getting the wording right, so we can submit it to whomever.
give us what you think, give everybody what you think the wording should be in writing, so we have a chance to look at it in that format. And then we can move forward. I'm not saying we don't need to do it, we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying we need to have a process so that we have a record of what's going on.
Okay,
Oh,
We'll do it.
Jesus.
So you can send that to, send a request to have an executive session. And when you send that request, give,
the
Luann
wording.
the language that you want to change in that, so we have it to discuss in the executive session. Because we have to be very careful on this particular thing, we have to be careful. We put a wrong word in here, and I agree with you, Linda, I'm not
I
arguing.
can tell.
We put one wrong word in here, and we're in trouble with, the union or somebody else filing a lawsuit against the city.
Did you say our manual is it's not on the website, is it? That's just the ordinance.
The ordinance is, but the manual should be there.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why it's not there. I
But
was
you can go
told,
on there and look at it. I went one day
yeah,
with
No, this-
Stephanie, cause it shows you on, when you're online, it shows you the last time it was messed with, the date at the bottom in the corner. So how do you, you can't access?
I can't access that for changing.
No.
That's turned off. That was when I was in the process of developing and rewriting this. I did that.
Mhm.
Once it was voted on, that should have been turned off.
But I thought she told me that we can go online. When we go online, we can see that, we can see the date. And she said, when we go online, we can see the last time it was modified. And is that the same with the ordinances?
The ordinances, that's handled by Municode. They put that in there.
Okay,
This manual right now doesn't have a home on the web that's official.
okay. When will it get there?
Well, I was told that
I'm
we
just
can't do it, we can't publish it until the unions approve it.
Until the
The
what?
problem, the unions approve it. Problem is there is nothing in the
Okay.
union contract that says they have to approve it.
Okay. And the reason I ask is because I know when I worked the job, like you say, sometimes they don't give you a manual. You have to go online and
Right.
read the manual and then you sign off on it. And they know that you then signed that one important paper that we were talking about. And you have to go on there and sign off on it. They don't give you a physical copy, the employee. You go online if you need to access something in your employee, you get a digital one. That's what they call it. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's what I was asking. Did
and we
we
should
have-
have a digital copy of this available online that cannot be modified by anybody but one person who is authorized or two people that are authorized to do it.
Mhm,
Gotta have a backup.
mhm,
And then that would be available, because if we have a prospective employee,
mhm.
that prospective employee has a right to see this, because this is public information. They can
Mhm.
FOIA us for it,
Mhm.
but this is something that they should be able to get to without doing that.
Mhm.
And that way, then when the job descriptions have been fixed,
Mhm.
they'll be in there too. But the job descriptions are actually, this is the policy part of the manual. The
Mhm.
first 18 or so pages of the manual is policy.
Mhm.
So that's the important part.
Okay, they're gonna send you information and
Right,
then we'll talk about it.
Ashley, you should go to.
Yeah, but I got another question because I know we pay a lot of money for our website and we as councilmen and the employees here in Lebanon, they should be able, I know that guy Cody that does all our computer work, he should be able to go in there and set up where employees can go access the things that they need to access online that's pertaining to their job.
This
That's
put-
what I'm getting to.
Well, that being said, I'm gonna let you know that I agree with you that this particular website that we pay several $1,000s a year for. We could have all kinds of things getting out of this that are automated. You know, at one time when we were getting started, I had the password to get in there to see all this. And agendas, all that stuff could be automated on that website.
Mhm.
We're not even using a fraction of its capability.
Okay.
And I'm happy to see that finally, we're all in there with our email addresses. The entire city staff is in there now with their email addresses. Not the entire city staff, but most of them are in there with their email addresses. And that's all because of the GoGov thing. So you can, comment about an employee in GoGov. So it's all there. So let's keep moving.
Oh,
Anything else?
to take that test yet?
I've done it. It's available. We haven't sent it out to everybody. We're actually not paying the bill until tomorrow. 3 of us just signed off on it, so it can be paid. It is all set up. We can give you access. We have the emails that are gonna go out. And it'll go out soon, because we have to get it all done by December 31st. To be legal. It takes an hour online. Those who are in supervisory positions, it takes 2 hours.
Sexual harassment.
Right, that's the sexual harassment training. And it's just harassment in general, and it ain't be sexual. Okay, anything else for this, so we can move on? So you're gonna all get me, so I can have it ready for the next agenda, if you want it on there, what you want changed. And I will make sure that I put it in a format. Now, I'm gonna move things around on my desk, I'm gonna find my agenda again. As I usually do, I end up putting things on the bottom of the stack. Anyway, we are at, health and safety. Anything for health and safety? Okay, thank you.
Finished business.
Okay, now we're gonna go on to unfinished business. I have a copy out here, I'll get my, I know I didn't write any notes on it. Will I mix it in here? Okay, unfinished business. First item, we wanted to discuss and make a recommendation regarding the resolution and documents for the Lebanon Business District grant program. And I didn't, it's not for me, so who's gonna bring it forward? The grant program.
I don't think they here. Because Michelle not here today.
That was, the grant program stuff was given to you, those are resolutions that we have to pass, I think one is.
So we have a resolution, then we have the document that is the program plan, program process. Yeah. How did something disappear from my desk? I didn't go anywhere. I thought you'd sitting there. But we have several things that have to be done. The first one is, there is in the materials we received a business district grant program agreement. And this agreement is something that if a person a business wants to use funds, they have to go through this process for that to happen. And so what we're going to accept, I guess, is a resolution that approves this. And where's that resolution? Thought I printed them all out. Resolution adopting City of Lebanon Business District Grant Program and other documents related thereto. So the documents I have, they all have draft on them. Is the documents that are used, that'll be the agreement between the business, etc. And then a resolution. And did you all print this resolution? You don't have to read it to you.
The whole thing.
Oh, it's only, and the resolution itself is only
Oh,
2 pages. The resolution is 2 pages, and the second page is just the signature. So it states, the resolution states, whereas the city of Lebanon, Illinois City desires to encourage renovation, improvement, repair of existing commercial properties within the city's established business district. And whereas the corporate authorities of the city believe that it is in the best interest of the city to establish a formal program which will encourage these types of activities to occur and help them to accomplish these goals, Business District Grant Program. So the Business District Grant Program is a separate packet that you received in the email that had the documents they would sign and what they're expected to do, what the grantee is, where the grant for, the grantee is the receiver, and what they're all the expectations. And then it says, the city will utilize funds collected pursuant to the Business District Development and Redevelopment Act. That's where we were able to set up the business district. And now therefore be resolved, and it just says we're going to adopt these documents, etc. They're passed, so we'll have that done. So in the documents we're doing is apparently any business in the business district can apply for funds to make improvements. There is a question I have, and I'm gonna ask the question before I let anybody else ask this question, only so I get it out of the way, is we thought that some of these funds could be used to advertise. How are you going to get businesses and how are you gonna get people to town to take advantage of the businesses?
Hmm.
And I don't see that. I looked at the ordinance and I looked at the statute, it's not in there. And the reason I ask that, that being said, is because I've had at least two businesses approach me wanting to, like the Chamber of Commerce is one of them, wanting to access these funds because they pay the tax, because they're in the business district, access some of these funds to help pay for advertising on the big bulletin board downtown, down on the 450. So I don't know. We have to do this or we can't, we have to have this process in place or we cannot award any funds to anybody.
Mhm. I would think that would be kind of hard to do, to access funds for a business to be advertising their business. That's personal business to me for a business. When we did the business district, I thought the business district was for the people that have those businesses to be able to upgrade their, interior, exterior. What, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
I didn't know it was for advertisement, because then you're gonna be bumping heads when you do
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Because you're gonna have all kind of people feeling that you're being unfair. And I don't know about that, that's tricky business.
Well, that's why I'm not, I'm just a
I'm
messenger.
not just saying, I wouldn't use those funds for that, but I can see where they could probably, or come together and, I don't know, that's just getting in a whole different realm of.
Well, it turns out, we were told one thing about that big sign. That there would be time available for businesses in town and for nonprofits, et cetera, et cetera. The cost to put those ads up there is not what we were told.
I believe it. Because those kind of signs are very expensive
Oh, yeah.
to
well, we know that.
advertise on. That's why you see people like Mueller Furniture and stuff like that. But I thought we was also told that the city would be able to advertise on there for
To
free.
get information.
But you know, people say anything to get what they want.
Because they are,
I'm
the
sorry.
major events are being advertised on that.
Yes, I did see our events
I saw
for
that
it's
too.
the witches.
And we also have the sign, the new thing on the square, the new sign on the square that's owned by the Chamber of Commerce. It's not owned by McHenry. That's the way.
I think the advertising part is for like, if we wanted to buy another sign to advertise for us,
Okay,
then that could come out of the funds.
right, 'cause
I
I
don't
don't
think
that's,
us advertising on that sign down there has anything to do with it.
okay. I'm happy. But whatever happens, we need to recommend that this process to award funds goes through.
Mhm.
And the question came up about the mayor having a lot of authority in this. No, this is something else, but basically, there's another, I'm confusing ordinances to now, right now. But this is a process that a committee will go through the process with a business person. And they'll make sure that it meets all the requirements, but before a penny is spent,
Mhm.
it comes to the city council for approval.
And do we have that committee? Do we have that committee?
There's a
for that
committee,
business district?
there's a committee of employees that's put themselves together.
Okay, I'm just asking, cause I
There is a
know
committee
that's
of
good.
city employees
They came together
that
and
came
wanted to
together.
be the
It
committee.
includes, it includes Luann, you're on that committee? It's Luann,
The accountant,
Michelle,
Stephanie,
Stephanie.
myself,
Okay.
that's about it. People that, come in contact with people that might wanna turn in applications and evaluate them, and then after we evaluate them, whether it sounds like a good or bad, we put that recommendation forward, we don't decide.
No, but you evaluate them. If you don't like it, you don't put it forward,
No,
there needs to be a check on that.
I would, that's why I said, it doesn't, we just put a recommendation forward,
Okay.
either good or bad.
So they're all gonna come to the council
Yeah,
with a recommendation.
but you know how when people apply for things, they might be confused. We don't want a bunch of applications coming forward that aren't tied together in a neat package for you guys to understand.
So what your committee's gonna do is make sure that this paperwork is all together, everything's there. The fund, the amount they're asking for, the work they wanted to do, everything's there. Because then we will get these from the committee with a recommendation. It could be, move forward with do this one. It could be, we're not sure, or it could be, don't do this. And we still have to, we can still override the recommendation. Because what that committee is giving us is the recommendation.
Just like any of your other committees that sends things to.
Okay, so should we take this forward to council for next week with the resolution?
I say yes.
Second,
What?
second.
Yeah, good, so there's 2 yeses. Need 2 to 3 more before I stop, put it on the agenda.
Yes, yes, yes.
Can you put? You okay with those?
Gotta move this on. I gotta go to bed tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna put this on the agenda for next week.
I have a question about
Yes.
that. Is the minimum amount on there $20,000?
There's no minimum, there's a
No
maximum.
amount.
Okay, because I read a part in there that was like, you don't apply it $10,000, but yet it and.
There's a
10,000
maximum.
matching.
Of 10,000,
I'm sorry,
maximum of 10,000,
but with a matching 10,000, right? So
With a
whatever you
matching.
apply for, you match it, correct?
right? It's 50% of the total. So whatever your project's gonna cost, the city will fund 50% up to 10,000.
Yes. I just said it backwards, but yes.
Okay,
I just want to make sure that it's a matching grant, so.
right, it is a matching
people
grant,
ask,
these are
it's a
not,
matching grant.
we're not giving away 100%. Okay, I'll put this on the agenda for next week. Okay, are we ready to move forward? I found it, then I lost it again. I packed it in here. The next item on the under unfinished business, the next item is to discuss or recommend an ordinance amending the City of Lebanon's Municipal Code, Chapter 36, zoning, planning, development, Article 2, District Regulations, Division 3, SR1, SR2, SR3. Items 2, 3, and 4 are related. These are the issues that Jessica brought up regarding the property and her inability to do something. And then during public comment, Mr. Ramey brought up something that he'd like to add to these. But there are 3 ordinances that actually control that. The first ordinance is 36-119. And 36-119 is. Give it up now. 36-119 is the ordinance that controls the number of principal buildings on a lot. We have a bunch of lots in the city where there are actually 2 principal buildings when they were allowed to be put in decades ago. Problem is, a principal building, it is section 36-119. -119, and basically this ordinance. We printed it out, changes one thing, it allows for more than 1 principal building to be on a lot, provided that the second or third, whatever principal building is not constructed until after October 15th, 2024. So those that already have existing two principal buildings in a lot, vis-a-vis, what's your address, Jessica's
401.
401, St. Clair, no,
Shoots.
Shoots, and then you have your corner on
315 South Monroe.
315 South Monroe, two separate addresses, one lot, two principal buildings.
Mhm,
And so this ordinance allows that to be legal,
mhm,
but stops anybody from doing it on any other property in the city.
mhm.
I got the same thing,
You got the same thing,
yeah. I just thought about it.
right?
The church has two addresses, it's the old bowling alley.
Right. You got the same thing.
So
So
they are
this
grandfathered.
allows you, basically, it's grandfathering it without using the word grandfather, because that's not really a legal term.
Well, what you gonna call
Basically, it's, you cannot construct anything on that property, a second principal building
it? Mhm.
structure on that property. As of the time we pass this, whenever we pass it, it's immediately effective. And since we put October 15th in the ordinance, somebody would have already had to get all the permits and get started on it to be able to do it.
Mm. You can put-
So this grandfathers in those properties that have two or more principal buildings.
Mhm.
That's the ordinance that is 36-119.
Mhm.
The ordinance 36-120 is one that says that every building erected has to be conform with the code, but if they're under 1,000 square feet, they can be rebuilt.
Mhm.
The last paragraph on the first page, every principal building erected in the SR1, SR2, and SR3 districts erected on or after October 15, 2024 shall conform to the applicable requirements indicated in the table below. There's a table in the ordinance that says these are the sizes that can be used. You gotta follow the zoning, etc. requirements for that building. That's a lot easier than writing a long 15-page ordinance, when there's only one sentence that really needs to be changed. The third ordinance, since these are a package, is the changes section 36-121. And it says that one family dwelling structures shall have a total area of not less than 1,000 square feet for each dwelling unit measured from outside walls, including sleeping areas. Then it says there are exceptions. Exception 1 is one family dwelling structures erection prior to October 15, 2024. So if it's already there, it meets the requirement, even if it's under 1,000 square feet.
Mhm.
Number 2 is one family dwelling structures that are being erected on the original or repaired foundation. So they can't have a small building burned down and replace it with one that's smaller or bigger. It's gotta be on the same foundation or a repaired foundation in the event the foundation is destroyed. Now, Mr. Ramey has given us, an amendment to that he would like to see us adopt. I like it. It says, any one family dwelling structures erected, that are adding the words that are damaged or destroyed may be repaired or rebuilt.
Mhm.
Adding that so that we know that if it's gone, then it can be built.
I like adding that, because that way future people that are sitting in these chairs will understand where we were at.
Right, so understand, so if somebody comes in, if, I'm not intending for this to happen, Jessica, if your cottage burns down, then you can rebuild it. Right now, you can't. But we're saying that that's what it's gotta be, it's gotta be damaged or destroyed to the extent that's uninhabitable, then it can be rebuilt under the 1,000 square feet rule. And then in 119, because principal buildings, if it already has two principal buildings and one of them burns down, it's not saying you can replace that building, it's just saying you can build another building. This one is saying, if any such building is damaged, destroyed, it can be repaired or rebuilt, and that's in 119 under the principal buildings. Would you like me to get with Mike and see if he can make the appropriate modification to this?
I think we had, yeah, if we can add that, that would help and simplify things for us and for future.
Right, it would clarify.
Yeah.
If he's in a good mood, it doesn't cost.
No,
Well, for this, it doesn't. This is part of our standard fee. The union or the personnel manual, that's personnel, that's our labor attorney. So that's different.
George, I didn't read that, but if the structure is 1,000 square feet and the frame house where it is on top is burns, is the foundation allowed to stay there without something go back up on
It
it?
says repaired or on the original or repaired foundation.
yeah, they can.
But I mean, if it comes out and nobody wants to rebuild on that foundation,
That is taken away, once it's gone, once that foundation is gone. It wasn't because it was destroyed. My guess is there was no foundation.
I just mean, like I said, if all the wood burns and they just kind of meticulously clear all that out and they leave the walls, if you will, the foundation, is it allowed to stay there with nothing built on top of it?
We haven't addressed that. I'll ask Mike.
Okay.
We may have to add something about that. Now, the question is, do you want that foundation to remain or must it be cleared?
She has a question.
Yes,
I was just gonna share, typically when we've had like house fires and things like that involving insurance, if the person chooses to not rebuild, it's gonna fall under a safety issue and it's gonna fall into inspections and things like that, that the city would then take action that the foundation would need to be removed to be safe. It would fall under a completely different section of coding and everything.
okay, so there's a way for us to do, we don't have to change it. It's a done deal.
Thanks, Jess.
Yes.
Thanks, Jess. It's good to have somebody. So, should I ask Mike to include similar language to both of those? Can we bring both of those ordinances forward?
Sure. Yes.
All right,
Both of them.
I think, oh, the only thing we didn't put on the agenda was the solar farm. So, you all have that solar farm ordinance proposed. We'll discuss that at the next meeting. I forgot to put that on there. I thought we'd go on because we mentioned it several times.
Well, but I think we need to, we'll discuss it and vote on it for the next meeting, or we gonna have solar farms all over this place.
Oh, I know,
And no houses,
we need to get that one done quickly.
for real.
So I'll have it on the agenda under new business or old business next week. There's there was some concern given to me, just to let you know that it's not been sitting stagnant. There's some concern given to me that in that ordinance, the mayor has a lot of authority. The mayor doesn't have a lot of authority because everything in that ordinance leads to the fact that if someone wants to put in a solar farm, it has to go through the plan commission. And then once it goes through the plan commission, then the council will vote on it. The mayor has authority as it's being developed, and the mayor or designee, which would mean our code enforcement officer, would have some authority to guide the process as the company's coming in here, so that every little question doesn't come to the council. And that, the way I read it, it isn't until we get the plan commission recommendation, the council votes on it and becomes official.
George,
Yeah,
and everything that is done solar farm is 100% whatever the state says. It's not the county, it's not the city, it's the state. So it's very regulated.
it's very regulated because, oh, here it is, I have it in front of me. But it's basically has to do with all throughout this ordinance, state statute is cited. And so bottom line is, I'll bring it up under new business or old business next week. Read this ordinance thoroughly. If you have changes you want to make, if you can get them to me, I can get them out to everybody, how it's gonna look, so you have a better idea what the final thing looks like. But get them to me, please, by Thursday, so that so that I can get them to Luann before she puts the agenda out. But we need to get something moving on this quickly. This ordinance is from Highland. And if you don't remember the explanation given to us about the reason we use ordinances from other cities, is it saves us money and time. Because if we had one that is not used in another city, our attorneys would have to go through and spend time on it, and we would be billed for that time, because it would be billed separate as, it's not included in our flat rate. So that brings us down to, is there any other business?
Oh, yeah, I got new business.
Oh, you got new business,
Yeah,
okay.
new business. I need to call a special meeting for this Thursday or Friday evening to discuss the elected official salary, which the deadline is October 31st. And we need to discuss that so we can hopefully bring something forward for the next council meeting on the 28th, because I'm not gonna be here on the 28th.
Okay, Thursdays are bad. Because there's a major event that takes place at 50 and 4 every Thursday from 6:30, from 6 and that's 7, well, it's at 7 o'clock, then starts at 5, goes till 7.
Who can make it on Friday? Like 5, 6 o'clock, or
I can,
you need what, 5 people, I think, to have a
you
quorum?
need to have 5 people for a quorum.
Okay. Can you make it, Bobby, 5 or 6 or something?
Trying to, look at my calendar, sorry.
I think I can be here.
Okay.
This meeting is an executive session meeting.
It's just a special meeting. I don't know if you want to call it executive or not. I guess
There's gonna be anything voted on in it?
it was gonna discuss it and then I guess, yeah, then try to bring it forward for the meeting. So I guess it could be.
So they can vote on it on Monday,
Cause
cause
it's the personnel stuff,
5 o'clock.
No, it's raises for the like,
that's an executive meeting.
okay.
So the meeting itself is gonna be an executive session, so you need to make sure Mike can make it.
Well, according to the guy at IML, the only people who have to be at executive session is the clerk, the mayor, and the council. The lawyer does not have to be there.
Yeah, the policy, one of the reasons that we've been practicing that is that gives us a way to show, because he is, as an officer of the court, will know that we're on topic or off topic. But, you know, I think we can still do it. You're right. I know that is in,
that's only one subject
in the
you wanna
Bible
talk
here.
about.
that's in the Bible.
Yeah.
That it's gotta be the members of the council and the mayor for an executive
I
session.
think this isn't trying to slide anything through. It's just that he doesn't have, according to IML, he does not have to be there. He's there at the request of the mayor or something. He's not, he does not have to be there.
That's fine. Whatever time, it'd be 5 o'clock on Friday's fine with me.
Who else?
That's fine.
5 o'clock on Friday?
Yeah.
Golly.
Well, we
If
could
you want a
do,
possible raise,
if it's gonna be a short meeting, we could do 5 o'clock on Thursday, but it's gonna be really short for me. I'd have to leave.
why don't we make it on Friday at 5?
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Did you hear that, Luann? 5 on Friday.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay,
One topic,
That's it.
one time,
One
yeah.
topic.
1.5 hours.
What?
I've had 5-hour meetings on one topic.
There won't be one there.
No. Anyway,
We'll all
That
walk
way
out.
is there anything else for the agenda or anything else?
That's all I got.
I have a couple things.
Okay,
Just for a topic in the future, and Luann might wanna jump in on this one. We had a permit done a while back because of Clearwave coming through. And anytime we dig in the right of way. Well, we've had some question about people replacing sewers, do they need that permit? And that is a huge document. Which Luann speak up, Luann, you're back there, that we don't, think that who's digging a sewer should have to fill out this ginormous document, to dig, to repair a sewer. But as of right now, there's nothing else to give them, nothing else to, any kind of permit to have them dig, which most places do have a permit for digging in the city streets. And as of right now, we have nothing. So people call me, say, what do I have to do to replace this sewer? And I tell them, call City Hall, they have to get a permit. And Luann says, do I have them fill out this big permit? And I'm like, well, if that's all we have, then yes, but
And I haven't really been given any direction from you guys. What the big right of way one is for major companies like Clearwave. They've got to give a traffic, they got to get their insurance and all this stuff. Once they did that, we thought, well, it's kind of silly for them to do another one. If they do, say, Ace Hardware, and then Clearwave wants to do McDonald's, that whole thing is just a waste of paper and a repeat. We've got their bond, we got their insurance, and we just transfer the bond to the next, process that they want to do. And we made out a smaller form that just basically says, where are you working? What time are you working? Contact the water company and the street department, let them know that you're working in that area. So that if anything goes wrong, they can, look in on it and help. So, that's what our plan was. A guy called today for a sewer one in the street. And I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't, you send me your stuff? I want to see that you have insurance on your company. I want to see that you got a bond. And I want the bond in our name.
that's what I told him whenever he called me, but I said you might have to fill out paperwork,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I thought that was, well, I will have him fill out a form so that we can annotate and document where everything.
And I,
So
and
taken
and on
place.
that, I think that the Clearwave transferring for a project is fine until they come in and start wanting to have 5 crews.
Yeah.
And then if they come in and start doing that, which they have done in other communities, the transferring that from one to the next is not gonna work. We're gonna need to know upfront what they're doing, where they're doing it, and that bond is gonna have to cover all of that, which is not just, we can't just keep moving it
And those
along.
aren't small
Okay.
ones, those are like $100,000 bond.
Right, so let's go back to the first topic, replacing a sewer. Are we talking about an individual replacing the sewer line on their property?
No.
It's from where it,
All the way from the house to the street, including their tap is all the homeowners, so
right,
they could be digging in the street as this one plans to do. They plan to replace an entire line to and including their tap onto the main.
That's one name.
because then that would be one thing. A company that's been all over town with Clearwaves, that's another issue.
Yeah, we realize that, but we only have one form right now, one document, this big packet for everyone,
Yeah.
which is what was presented from Highland, correct, at the time, or from.
Yeah, I believe so.
So there's a giant packet that they have to fill out to a sewer that's not, they're not doing the same things.
No,
They're-
if it's a repair or replacement for a sewer, I would suggest writing up something
I have something.
and then
I
bring it
just said I had.
to the next meeting. And we can discuss it and probably take care of it pretty quickly.
We just want to make sure whatever we're doing is covering and that we're good with one document doing that sort of work compared to the other.
Right, that's sort of like,
Like the difference between a building permit when you're building and you've got all kinds of stuff going, or somebody just putting on a deck. We use what's called a structural inspection on that.
right,
It's small, it's one page kind of thing with a drawing of what they're doing. If their inspections are on there already, they sign off when they get inspected. So it's basically, this is gonna be the same thing. I think on the form that I came up with, I have on the bottom, some stuff that they have to show and we check it off and then they have to sign that that's what they're doing. And then we have, I have a sign off of completion when the person gets done and either Penny goes by or Cody goes by or whoever somebody needs to go by and
And is there a
Look at
fee? Is there a fee?
We don't have right of way fees.
So there's no permit fee right now, we're
Right.
just filling it out.
And at least we know where they are and what day they were there.
I didn't know the answer to that question when he asked me today, so.
That's all there's water and sewer. Patrick, Pat, the whole thing about doing that is the water and sewer. And then making a recommendation for an ordinance change.
Does it require an ordinance change for what you're asking, or is it
Or
just?
can you go through
Or is
that
it just to
package
sell the?
and see which
Could it
you
be a
can
procedure?
narrow it down?
Could it be a procedural change and that can be done with the resolution? You can
Yes.
change the procedure.
Yeah,
Just-
because it's a right of way. It's still in the right of way packet, but it's gonna be a smaller farm
Right,
for a smaller project. But they still have to meet certain criteria.
yeah.
We maybe get that on the next water sewer, just so
Okay.
we're all on the same
Yeah.
page as to what.
Get it all together.
And there's no fee, so there's going to fee schedule.
Yeah.
So that's another ordinance. That becomes an ordinance. thing. Changing the school. Okay,
Just don't forget to be here at 5 o'clock on Friday.
we're here 5 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah.
And, there's no further business. We are adjourned.
Are you going right here?
I'm going right
Oh,
there.
sorry.
Sorry. I think I know.